Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Career Conversations with Oyin Malachi. This is a self-help and career development podcast that inspires us to fearlessly pursue our dreams and have successful careers. Each episode, we feature me having authentic conversation with established career professionals. They will share their journey, experience, and practical tips with the purpose of impacting and equipping us to improve our personal and professional lives. Joining me today is Jumoke Aleoke Malachi. Jumoke is an HR professional with over 10 years of experience in recruitment, talent management, and organizational culture. Jumoke is also a certified emotional intelligence coach. Thank you so much, Jumoke, for coming on board.
Thank you for having me, Ainda.
Okay, so now let's get right into it. Let's get into your career. Can you tell us about your career journey?
Okay, my career started in 2009 with Human Edge Limited. Human Edge is a human resource consulting firm, and I joined as an associate consultant, working on very diverse clients' portfolios. By the time I was leaving 6 years after, I'd risen to be the head of recruitment. So I sort of carved a niche in recruitment. So despite the fact that the organization was into consulting services across recruitment, training, and HR advisory, my core was recruitment. So by the time I was leaving after 6 years, I'd risen to be the head of recruitment. From there, I moved on to IHS Towers, where I was the talent acquisition manager, responsible for talent attraction and retention for the business. IHS is a leading tower co. Yeah. So afterwards, I moved on to Aldelia Global Manpower. So Aldelia is a global manpower company supporting clients in the oil and gas space and in several other sectors. So I work there as the head of recruitment again. But currently, I'm with Television Continental, a leading media company, as the senior manager, people culture, experience, and operations, doing a lot around culture change, improving employee experience, and of course, the regular HR operation. But essentially, the focus is on the people experience. Yeah, so that's a snapshot of my career path.
Oh, thank you for sharing that. That's nice. Looks like your recent career move looks like you have a big portfolio. So we are looking forward
Big,
to.
big. Okay, okay, I hear you.
Okay, so what I wanted to draw from this conversation with you, I'm sure that
Yeah,
you work across 3, 4 organizations, and
yeah.
you must have had some unpleasant experiences during this
Mm.
time. Can you remember one or two that maybe stand out, and then can you share that with us?
Okay, I think I would share. Uh, One, I want to be careful not to mention the organization,
Yes,
but I'm
please.
sure that anybody who has worked with me in this place will be able to relate with exactly what I'm about to say.
Okay.
And it was more around a sort of toxic work culture.
Mm.
So at the time I joined this particular organization, I was recruited by the head of HR or the HR director. And let me give a little background. So before I joined this particular organization, I'd worked in an environment where my talent was shining. So it was that you're good at what you do, you get the promotion you deserve, uh, you move up the ladder and all of that. There wasn't any need for politicking or lobbying or anything. So joining this organization, like I said, I was recruited by the HR director. I worked with her for a couple of months before she had to leave. So by the time she left, a lot of stuff started to happen. And one was me getting a new line manager who was like the HR director who I said left was a female. And then I got another line manager who was also a female. But that was when I experienced when people say female bosses are a handful. That was my first experience. But bear in mind that I'm also a female boss. So I've had people reporting into me, but I don't know that I give them that kind of sour treatment or leave that kind of taste in their mouth. So in this role, I had two people reporting into me when this new line manager came. And she sort of, it's as if she was on a mission to make our lives hell. But I think she picked on my direct reports more. Now these are people that had worked with me in a cup for some months before she came to manage us. And we always had a fun time, you know. I would, even when I'm following up with work, it wasn't in a nasty or harsh way. So we will go out, have movie moments, you know. So I used to host them. They will come to my house. So we had that kind of rapport. And then this line manager came and she comes in the morning. I'd never experienced it, and I don't hope to experience it again. She will come in the morning, right from the door, she's screaming, we don't know anything.
Wow.
That's why the business will complain about what we do, we're all the same. That's why the business is where it is. So she will even diss us and diss the business. Uh, and then, of course, storm into our office, and we're like, oh no. So this is how we're going to start today. You know, so when all of that happened, because she was with us for about 3 months, I stay was actually shortly. And of course, I think the experience was everything. So when all of that was happening, she would, like I said, she would pick up my direct report. So I just always reminded them, guys, just let's do what she wants, at least within bounds. Let's sort of reduce our complaints and all of that, and let's just give it our best. But I was always making sure to remind them that, see, we were not here before. This was not how the team was. So you guys should just understand that this is sort of an abnormality. Just make the most of it, you know. So, and she would make my direct report cry at times. I would go to the bathroom, calm them, clean their, you know. So it was bad. It was a terrible experience. So imagine me being their line manager that they knew, and I was sort of helpless. So somebody came from nowhere, became a new line manager, and I almost could not protect them, but I tried. So what I just always did, I didn't know so much myself because I was also grappling with the reality of a new line manager who was different from what I've experienced in almost 6, 7 years of my career. And then, of course, beyond what she did for the immediate team was the larger HR team and the organization as a whole in some sort of toxic environment, highly politicized. If you didn't know certain people, you may not be promoted. If you didn't suck up to certain people, you know. So for me, it was a lot of stuff, and I just made sure that I maintained my sanity through that phase. But I also knew I wanted out, you know. So it was a deliberate attempt to say, while I'm here, I'll make the most of it, but I also know that I won't be here forever. And I always reminded myself that what I've seen here can't be the right thing. I don't know. I'd not not that I'd read any. Well, I'd read a lot of content online, you know, talking about workplace culture, employee engagement, and I started to take interest in employee engagement to say, how do you get people engaged at work? And then I see that all the things we're experiencing were not the right things to do to us. So you wanted to demand excellence from us. It wasn't by screaming or making us feel like we didn't know any. If we didn't know anything, we'll be adding the rules in the first place. And you met us in that organization, you know. So, but like I said, I just made sure to remind my team that let's make the most of it. I would comfort them when I can. Bear in mind that I was also dealing with a line manager that, you know, wasn't a dream line manager. That was the experience really, and I must say that that experience brought me out to start to study up and take interest in organizational cultures, to start to focus on what is employee engagement. And then, of course, by the time I took a course in emotional intelligence, I realized that really emotions drive people and people drive performance. So if you want people to really drive the performance of an organization, you need to pay attention to their emotions. So you cannot speak negative words to them. You cannot reduce their self-esteem. How will they be emotionally stable? You know, so I now realize that okay, all the things I did without even studying or having a degree in emotional intelligence were the right things to do. And I must say that that was formed by where I'd worked before that SAR experience, and of course my work ethics from home. So there was a way my parents had brought me up. There was a way we had learned to work growing up. So yes, I just made sure that that SAR experience didn't change what I knew to be right, and that took a lot of effort. Trust me, that took a lot of being deliberate, you know. But at least what I knew at the time, I used to the best of my knowledge. Yeah.
Oh, I mean, thank you so much for sharing that. So,
I sort of wanted you to also, just because you mentioned
Yes,
that experience made you now start to read more and say, no, I know that there is a better way.
better way. Absolutely.
So I believe that situation, you turn it around, and I think you made your career better. So can you, I mean, just touch a bit on that?
Oh, yes. I will be too glad to do that. So, yes, like I said, it was a toxic culture. I knew I wanted out. So, beyond the microculture was the larger culture within the business. So, I knew I wanted out. And I did. So, I started to look out. But while I was doing that, I was also reading up. So, reading up about workplace culture, employee engagement. I took keen interest in employee engagement. And the truth is, by the time I was leaving that organization, I said to myself that, well, I was going to be more careful before I joined any business. I was going to be careful about the kind of culture I was going into. I am someone who puts my everything into the job that I do so that when I go to work every day, I want to look forward to going to work every day. So the moment that is out of it, then I'm sure I want out. So by reading up and looking up on employee engagement and stuff around organizational culture, I I knew that the next role I was going to take needed to be something around that, honestly, so that I would just know it in theory, I could practicalize it.
Mhm.
So when I started to look, I was looking for roles around people and culture. When I spoke to my consultants and recruiter friends, I was telling them this kind of role I was looking for. And I spoke to one of my close, HR seniors to say this is kind of role I'm looking for. And I was like, okay, interesting, but you've not done that before. I said, well, but I know it. So I've sort of used what I know to build a microculture for my team. So anybody who reports to me, please reach out to them and ask. I am deliberate about how I manage them. So yes, I was keen on employee engagement for them. Even when the company wide will not sponsor certain things, I will do it for my team because do you understand? That was what I want. I wanted that
Mhm.
experience for them, even if the larger organization wasn't giving them. So by the time I described what I'd done and how I'd done it, what I'd read up and all, I was like, okay, looks like you know what you're saying. I'm like, yeah, I do. So just give me an opportunity to, and then a role came up. Like I said, the role I mentioned to you, I took, or my current role says people, culture, experience, and operations. So by the time I had to go for the interview, it wasn't a hard sell. I could describe what it meant to grow the right type of culture. I could talk about the right type of employee experience, so that opened me up to this opportunity. And I'm too humbled. One of my closest friends will say, I don't know how a role has existed in your head and you're sort of in that role today. So,
Hmm.
yes, that prepared me for this role, and I am having a ball.
Hmm.
So I'm dealing with line managers around how they manage their people, the right type of culture. My organization is vying for a great place to work. So this is too important.
Wow.
I don't know if you get what I mean.
Yeah,
So
I
if you see
understand.
any organization that says we're an employer of choice, we're a great place to work, the culture is right. Not because management says it, because the people can attest to it. And great place to work speaks to you're working in a fantastic place. You love the people you are working with, and you love the work that you are doing. Those are the three elements that make up a great place to work. So you see where culture and employee engagement comes in now. And it's because the bad experience prepared me for what the right experience was. So no regret, honestly. Fine. When I was going through it, it wasn't funny. I can talk about it now. When
Hmm.
I was waking up to emails that were sort of attacking me, it wasn't funny. But it prepared me for what I'm doing at the moment. And I must say that, like you rightly said, I sort of made lemonade out of the lemons.
And I'm happy. Okay. And I'm happy. This is that
Thank you.
I'm
Thank you.
happy. So
Thank you.
I want to now touch on. I believe
Yeah.
there are people currently,
Mm.
in situations that are unpleasant, and
Hmm.
they also, some of them also want out, but
Mm.
one thing or the
Mm.
other, they
Mm.
feel like they are
True.
stuck. So, what would
Mm.
be your career tip for professionals, majorly, in their early to mid-level career, on how to
Mm.
navigate the world of work?
Okay. I think first I would say that um, talent always has a choice. If you are a talented person, you have choices. You see people moving jobs. You see people moving from one industry to another. One of the guests you had on your show the other day was talking about working with World Bank. So impossible is nothing. You want to
Agreed.
work for WHO, you want to work for the United Nations, you can absolutely get those jobs. So it has to be that you are talent enough. So what does it mean to be talent? It is that you are competent, you are building your competencies, you have the right knowledge, you have the right skill set, your attitude is right, and that speaks to culture and employee engagement again.
Mm.
Speaks to emotional intelligence. All these things tie together. But first is you need to be you need to be in the right frame of mind as a talent. I've been saying in recent times that everybody talks about employer branding, how the organization positions to attract talent. And today I'm saying no, beyond employer branding should be employee branding. How are employees also positioning themselves as talent that organizations want to hire? Why should I hire you? What value do you bring? So employees are used to what is in it for me. When I come and work here with my talent, what will you do for me? But organizations too now, and that's the people deal to say that what would the organization do for you, but what will you also do for the organization? So my challenge to people is position yourself as talent indeed, and be rest assured that opportunities will come. Oh yes, position yourself as talent, and it stems from self-awareness. Know your strengths, know your weaknesses, what makes you tick. Discover yourself, have your own career plan, know where you're trying to go. It may not be crisp clear. I read something recently that's why tech guys always have bug fixes. You have update one, update two, update three, so you
Mhm.
won't be ready. You will not be ready. Oh, but not. I'm not saying come ready. No, but you're on that journey. So you are saying this is my career 1.0. This is what I want to achieve. This is my career 2.0. We didn't all get here overnight. Whatever Oyin Malachi is doing today is putting about 10 years experience into play. So this did not happen overnight. So the point is you need to see the big picture. Where are you trying to go with your career? Some people think I've joined this organization, my career is in the hand of HR, they're the ones that will determine the training I go for. Hello. You need to know where you are trying to go. And when you come into an organization with that degree of awareness, they see you as talent. This one knows what he wants to achieve in his life. Yes. And HR can then support what you're trying to do for yourself. And you become indeed competitive advantage for your organization. So first is what? Discover yourself as a talent. Discover, know the talent you carry, position yourself all right, and of course, build your network. I am a product of relationships. I've, I've worked with 4 organizations. 3 out of those jobs were based on referrals. 3.
Mm.
There was only one I begged to apply, and I'm sure Ida knows which. So 3 out of those jobs were based on somebody said this girl can do what she wants. Oh yeah, let her go. So build your network. People, you've done an article before on sponsors. Yes,
Yeah.
it may not be in your organization. It can be in your large. I always say to people, you're an HR person. Nobody knows you in the HR space in your company. How do you do that? You're a finance person. They don't know you in the finance space. So as you are developing yourself as talent, as you're building your competencies, build your network. People make things happen. I don't joke with people. I am a relationship junkie. But I always say to people also, nobody wants to feel like you're using them. So if you think you will build the relationship, I'll just use you, suck what I want out of you, and drop you. Okay, well done, but no, thank you. So build genuine relationships, connect with people, build your network. Those things open doors. They actually open doors. They increase your network. And when people say your network is your network, it is that the people you know will determine the quality of things that come into your life. If you get what I mean,
Yeah.
it will determine the kind of opportunities you get. It would, if you're a business person, it will determine the kind of contracts that you get. You understand? And that's why they say your network is your network. So really, I think I've dropped too many tips. And then please
Yes.
let me add,
You have shared
never
so much good.
underestimate the God factor.
Mm.
Never underestimate the God factor. Build, the right personal brand. Be well positioned and be rest assured that, see, I always say to people, your career is your life's journey. When a person dies, they talk about where the person has worked, how long you worked there. So when you die, part of your story is where you worked. And that's why if you're in a role you do not like, please be deliberate. I won't say, oh, resign, drop your letter and go. No, I would say have a plan. Always have a plan. Where do you want to go? Are you clear about the industries you want to go into? Are you clear about what you want to do? I talked about me, even though I'd done recruitment for the longest part of my career, I knew what I wanted next and I was clear. And luckily for me, I found someone who could help me in that journey. But if I wasn't ready, I always say that luck is opportunity meeting preparation. So it looks like you're lucky, but it was that an opportunity came and you were prepared to take it. So you're in a bad role today. What do you need to do next? Someone signed up for my coaching and we're talking, and she said, oh, she told me all the bad things about her role. And I told her, what are the good points? What are the things we can learn now? Let's continue to learn while we look for a plan B. Because I won't say resign and just be on your way. No. Make the most of your current experience. If it is totally depressing, if it is taking away your joy on a regular, even this working from home, you are dreading waking up to your laptop because the mail from your orga you may not be able to deal with, then talk to someone. Do you have a mentor? Do you have a coach? Do you have people who are helping you on the journey? Talk to somebody. And please, they can talk to Workplace with Jam if they want. So really, talk to somebody so that somebody helps you out of, whatever negativity you experience. So I think that's the missile of tips I think I want to leave with them.
Thank you so much, Jumoke, for joining me.
Thank you for having me. Thank you for having me, Oyin.
I love this conversation. It was so lively.
Same here. And the truth is, you actually brought me to talk about this experience because it was something I'd moved on from, and I never really went back to think through it and feel what I felt. I've never really dissected my feelings through that phase. Maybe because I was carrying my people to say, you know what, instead of me brooding and thinking about how I was feeling about this, I remember that I was pregnant. So instead of me overtly analyzing it, I just went through it and made sure that, my people survived it. But you brought into words what I experienced in those times. So thank you. Thank you very much. And I'm sure I've healed.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for sticking till the end. I appreciate the time you have decided to spend with me. Kindly share this podcast with your friends, and if you're listening on Apple Podcasts, please take a minute to drop a review. I would personally love to hear from you. Feel free to send me an email or DM with your comments, suggestions, and feedback. Till next time, never stop believing and pursuing your dreams. You will realize it takes you to take a bet on you.